can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you started Mama Cooks Theatre?
I was part of a travelling theatre company called the Nomadic Academy for Fools. But when I came out of that, there was a real lack of roles, particularly for women, myself and my partner. So we decided to start a company of our own where we could basically write our own material and play in our own plays and produce our own plays and have complete creative output, creative control.
To think that I'd popped off, I said to a bloke with a nasty hecking cough, look at the blackers, blooming great horses, ain't it grand to be blooming well dead? Look at the bearers.
So tell us about Alice Cracked.
We were going to do something about Alice in Wonderland. But we didn't really connect with that story very much. So we thought, actually, let's just go with the name Alice, choose 5 Alices from history. And so we started researching different Alices from history. One of those was Alice Liddell, which is our connection with Alice in Wonderland. That we were interested in the real Alice Liddell behind the Alice in Wonderland Alice. And we also found Alice B. Toklas, who was the partner of Gertrude Stein. They were both famous kind of bohemian intellectuals, I suppose you would call them, and they would host soirees. And Alice B. Toklas wrote a famous cookbook, and she was famous for her hash brownies. And who else do we have? Alice Young, who was our oldest Alice from the furthest in the past, one of the first people to be hung for witchcraft in America, in Salem. Alice Hertz, who was a peace protester, basically. She was a lifelong pacifist after she'd lived through the Second World War and the First World War in her childhood. And she moved to America. But when the Americans went into Vietnam, she was deeply, deeply upset by this. And she ended up self-immolating, which is a way of saying she set herself on fire in protest at the Vietnam War, and that it wouldn't end the Vietnam War.
Wow, Kitty, I mean, that's quite a variety of women called Alice. How are you connecting all of these stories together? I mean, are you connecting them with themes? And what themes are you using?
Well, war and peace, basically pacifism and war, and how people cope with this or deal with this and their reaction to it. We've also looked at how external events, big events in the world affect people's personal lives. So it's very much the personal and the political kind of coming together. How can people, how can there be reparations, or how can you find justice? How can you find some sort of reason for things that have gone on? So I would say those are our overriding themes.
So Katie, tell us, what are your current plans with Alice Cracked? You're going to bring it out in film.
Yes.
It's really different medium. How are you planning to do that?
Okay, well, films, there's great opportunities in film because the play is about the personal and the political, well, the personal and the external. So you with film, you can have footage from, all sorts of sources. And, we can get really creative with it, I think. And the play's got music in it anyway. We can still devise performances. We can still improvise performances. They'll just be on film. So they will have a different quality. So, but yeah, I think I think it could be really interesting. And you know, we're just adapting to the conditions of the world at the moment. So it's an opportunity to also to find audience all over the place. You know, not just in where we are.